This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
So J.J. Watt is available as a free agent for the Browns to pick up. Do the Browns pick him up? Does another team pick him up? Are the Browns being disrespected in some people's reporting of who they think the top teams going after J.J. Watt are? We'll talk about that and more here on the Voice of the Land. We are a Big Play production, proud to be a part of the Big Play family. And of course, we are also partnered with Web Streaming Studios by LPV Productions. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to the show. I am your host, Kevin Arnold, and alongside me, as always, my brother and co-host, Nick Paulus, and our producer extraordinaire behind the proverbial glass, Peter Tellup. Of course, we can be found every single week at 7 p.m., but special Valentine's Day treat starting a little bit early. I know the Pauluses and Nick is joined by his lovely wife, Kelly, here in studio tonight. They have some great plans tonight. We'll talk about our Valentine's Day and kind of what it means to us later on in the show, but want to make sure that they can get off to their plans because it is a day for loved ones to spend time together, and want to make sure we don't cut too far into that and put Nick into the doghouse.
Yeah, put me in the doghouse. Yeah, no, I'd like to avoid sleeping on the couch any more than I have to. So, yeah, let's do that.
Yes, I will always do my part to help you out.
Appreciate that.
That's what brothers do. We may get into it on the show sometimes, but that's
sure.
Brothers fight. We always, but it's always out of love. It's always out of passion for our love of sports, and that's what we're here tonight to talk about. Welcome, everyone that may be joining us on our Twitter page at VTL_pod. Make sure you hit the follow button there. Same handle on Instagram for some special content there. And, of course, you may be watching on Facebook, either on our page at Voice of the Land or Big Play's Facebook page as well. You can always find Big Play on YouTube as well as the Voice of the Land podcast. Just search Big Play Live or Voice of the Land podcast. Hit that subscribe, like, and turn on notifications there. Of course, the audio will always be posted throughout the week on Google, Spotify, Apple, or any major podcast platform. You can also find us on the Sportscaster Live app. We want to thank them for showing what we have to offer, as well as the entire Big Play family throughout the week, all the different shows. And, of course, thank you to Dave for bringing us in. We can't thank him enough every single week for bringing us into the family. And we want to thank, of course, show our love to our sponsor, DP Construction LLC. Reach out to them for all your concrete construction needs. You've been thinking about getting that concrete project done around the house. Reach out to them. I know that the snow is coming, so hopefully everybody stays safe this week, but they'll be out there, all elements. They'll try to do everything they can to do right by you. You can always find them on Facebook at DP Construction LLC. They got beautiful pictures on there of all the work that Uncle Steve does. Our buddy Tyler LaFrada showing a lot of support for this show since we started over 2 years ago, and we can't thank him enough. You can also give them a call for a quote, 330-217-4999. That's 330-217-4999. You can hit him up on Facebook for a quote, or Tyler LaFrada is so enamored with the work that he will provide to you and how loyal he will be in getting the job done for you. He's willing to put his own email out there for you. TylerLaFrada@gmail.com. Reach out to him directly, and he'll get back to you quickly. We know that he will have a quick response for you. They're Browns, Cavs, Indians, Buckeye, Ohio sport, Cleveland sports fans. Even if you're not a fan of the Cleveland sports scene, they will still do right by you, and they will stretch their work far and wide across the state of Ohio. So reach out to them, and again, check out those beautiful pictures. If I know you guys, I don't know if you're thinking about any concrete construction needs there, but
we've had them do a front little deck area for us before. So no, that fantastic work all the way through.
And they do it to a T. They put that work in, and as soon as the new fiance and myself,
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. For those that don't know, yes, my lovely fiance, Dr. Jana Fenstemaker, physical therapist, and myself, we did get engaged last Saturday after the show. I had a very difficult time. I don't want to say focusing during the show. It was more so not saying something about it because I knew that the show would be shown actually after, a little behind the scenes. If it's set live and you watched last week on our Super Bowl preview show, our Super Bowl extravaganza, we actually recorded that earlier in the day, so we weren't live, but Peter Tellep knows exactly how to get those things going. But
no doubt.
I was like, because this could air after this happens, but I don't want to say anything because I was trying to keep it a secret. She knew it was happening anyways. She knew.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
She knew.
Yeah, no doubt.
She knew, and she knew, her family knew, like everybody knew.
Yeah.
That
just
she
had that hunch going, or
the only person that like had a secret held from them was that she knew that it was like I didn't know that she knew. And as soon as we got to the place I was going to do it at, and we did it right in between our two favorite places, Progressive Field and Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Nice.
You know, we're all big Cleveland fans, but she's the big baseball fan. I'm the big basketball fan. And, you know, kind of had a special moment there between our two favorite places in downtown Cleveland.
It's awesome.
And, you know, she's like, where's my mother? Where's my mother? I know she's here, because her mother and her father came up. So thank you to, of course, Janet and Tim Fenstermaker for coming up and filming. And we went out to dinner afterwards.
Perfect.
So it was a lovely time. And then we got to kind of celebrate with my family with Super Bowl Sunday and the homemade jambalaya. So that was
go-to move, right?
Go-to move.
Yeah.
Had two big helpings of that last week. So that was really good. But want to thank everybody that has sent well wishes. Wow.
There we go.
Words can be hard sometimes, you know. It's a Sunday night, but I want to thank everybody that's sent congratulations and well wishes out to us. And it's been a whirlwind, but it's been a nice subdued weekend.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later on. We do need to get into some sports conversations here tonight, though. And the big news that's kind of dropped this week was that J.J. Watt got released, mutually parting ways with the Houston Texans brass. And it's a guy that Browns fans have been looking at to try to trade for. We mentioned him a little bit. We said we would talk about him. We haven't had a chance yet. Now that he is available, and you don't have to wait until the new league year to sign this guy. He is a free agent right now. Paulus, is he a must-have for the Browns to go after? We know all 31 other teams are going after him, and rightfully so for the type of career that he has and what he can bring to your organization. But are the Browns the team that needs to pick up J.J. Watt?
I don't know. Like, you saying must-have or must-sign in order to, like, make the Super Bowl, I don't think he's a must-sign. Do I want him on my team? Absolutely. I've been saying that we need to have some sort of veteran leadership on that defense. I love Miles and everything that he's been doing there for us, but you need someone opposite of him. And you saw that as soon as OV got injured. I mean, we couldn't stop a 3rd and 14 against Chad Henne. Like, if you have J.J. Watt there, you stop that. Okay, even if you had OV out there, I think you stop that. We understand that we can't survive and make it to the Super Bowl with the team that we currently have constructed. That being said, doesn't mean that we're not a playoff team, doesn't mean we can't surprise some people, but I don't think you can win a Super Bowl. You're not beating Tampa Bay. We didn't beat Kansas City, you know, to get to the AFC Championship game. So I do believe that we do need more people out there, more veteran leadership, whether that is from a J.J. Watt or a Richard Sherman or my personal preference, Patrick Peterson. Like, I would love to have Patrick Peterson on this team. But knowing that we need more edge rushing help, more than anything else in this world right now, that would be a great signing, but you have to be able to sign him to a contract that isn't going to kill you long term. Personally, for me, like, if you wanted to pay him, you know, an arm and a leg, I'm all for it, as long as we win the Super Bowl. But you can't guarantee anything in life. So for me personally, like, I would love to have J.J. Watt on this team, but is he a must sign? Is he the guy that's going to get us over the edge? I don't know. I can't promise that. You can't promise that. Peter can't. No one can. Okay. But if JJ played, like, if you told me JJ played exactly like he did last year, played all 16 games, played the most snaps on defense in the entire NFL, and he was also double teamed the most in the NFL. If you tell me that he's opposite of Miles and you give me that same exact sort of line stat right there, he doesn't end up with 5 sacks. I guarantee you that. I guarantee that. What a terrible defense, that he was on. I mean, he did everything possible not to lose 12 games there down in Houston. But I think that opposite of Miles, I think J.J. Watt could be a terror for at least 1 year. And this is our window. Like Cleveland, this is the window of opportunity here for us. Now that we have our franchise quarterback, now that we have our franchise coach, GM looks pretty solid as well. We're going to be making some really good moves here. I just think I would love to have JJ on this team, but once again, a must sign to me, no.
Peter, must sign or no for JJ Watt, or is it more so just that type of player that veteran leadership that this Browns team really needs to look at, and J.J. Watt is just the biggest example of that.
I don't know if it's excuse me. I don't know if it's a must sign. I know you're a little choked up. I mean, I would love to see J.J. Watt in a Browns uniform. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I think really it's that type of player. So I don't think we need him specifically, but we need something like J.J. Watt. And if we could get a player of that caliber opposite of Miles, I think that goes a long way, to making the Browns really a Super Bowl contender.
Sure.
I mean, they got a lot further than I thought they were going to get this year, which I'm happy. Do I think they're Super Bowl caliber right now? No. I think they're on the right path, but there's definitely a lot of pieces that need to be added.
Right.
I mean, if we can get J.J. Watt for a good deal, I think Nick's right. I think a year, maybe we're going to get a good year out of him, but beyond that, I mean,
you're not going to get him for cheap though. Let's be
no,
honest.
you're not.
He's not signing a minimum deal, an NFL minimum deal. That's not going to happen.
But we can't give up everything just to get J.J. Watt because that's not. I mean, I don't think the longevity is going to be there. I mean, I could be wrong because what do I know? But I wouldn't expect more than a year, maybe two of, top performance from him.
He's only got a couple years left of, even if it's not necessarily top J.J. Watt form, it's good enough to help out Myles Garrett along that line, because one of the areas of need for this team is to get another edge rusher to help out Myles Garrett. As freak of nature as Myles Garrett is, and the training that he goes through, and he trains with Stipe Miocic, he trains MMA, boxing, all these different types of hand-eye coordination type elements, because you got to be good with your hands to get through these great offensive linemen in the NFL. He's working on his footwork. He's strength training throughout the year. He's just a freak of a nature athlete. As good as he is, he's not getting through every single time to get to the quarterback. You're not getting a sack on first, second, and third down, or you're not getting a tackle for loss from the running back on first down, a sack on second and third down from Myles Garrett. That's unrealistic to even consider. That's beyond extensive. I mean, that's going to the Hall of Fame before your career's even done, if you're even able to do something like that.
Let's be honest. I mean, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer,
right.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year, has 101 sacks. I mean, he is legit.
Yes, J.J. Watt is legit.
Yeah.
And it's because of what now you see in Myles Garrett. He's kind of that next guy that we see having potentially multiple year Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
Again, these kind of guys, though, when they're at their peak, they're still not making a play every single time, but they're impacting what offenses have to do to scheme against them to make sure that guy doesn't make a play against them.
A real quick question for you. I mean, go back to the Super Bowl and look at what Tampa Bay's defense did against the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just saw a stat on Facebook. I think it was like Sports Center or something like that posted it, that Mahomes ran 497 yards
behind the line of
scrimmage
to get away from the defenders.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine our Browns with a defense that can put that kind of pressure?
All you need is defensive line. That's exactly how you beat any great quarterback. Think of the Super Bowls that Tom Brady's lost. The two Giants ones. What do they have? phenomenal defensive
Yes.
line play. And even the Eagles, like that still, it was a 41-33 game. It was a great game. And Tom Brady still threw for 505 yards, an NFL playoff record there for him in the Super Bowl. But what happened? He got beat up by that defensive line, and that's how you beat players like a Patrick Mahomes, a Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, all of those guys, especially Russell Wilson by that offensive line. So, but yeah.
Well, and to go back to the Super Bowl, what Patrick Mahomes had to go through in that game, I think that kind of gives even more of a coup to what the Browns were able to do through all of the adversity they had to go through when they were missing so many offensive linemen, especially in the game against the Steelers, and able to win that game.
Yeah.
Like, they were missing their 2 tackles on either side, and Mahomes, just any quarterback with that kind of pressure is going to look average to below average. We know how good Patrick Mahomes is, but if you can get pressure in the face of the quarterback and doesn't have time to sit back there, and he's only avoiding one guy every now and again, he's able to make those spectacular plays through that sidearm or no-look type.
Yeah, horizontal.
Yeah, he's running away from multiple guys because they were able to get pressure from multiple angles. That's the type of pressure that this Browns defense needs. So to say, and I know I asked the question from my end, not saying that I necessarily believed it, but I've heard people saying it, and that's why I wanted to see where you guys were at. Is J.J. Watt a must-sign? I don't want to say he's a must-sign, but what he can bring to this team is a must-sign. And
I agree with you there.
They need to find that guy or a couple guys. And what I mean by that is the veteran leadership. Not saying that Myles Garrett can't become a vocal leader. We saw Baker grow into that role.
I think Myles is becoming one.
He's becoming one, but he is a softer spoken guy. He is going to dominate by his physical presence, his ability to get through guys, and he's going to lead by example by the work he puts in off the field and how it translates to his play on the field and how much he gives of himself on the field.
Myles goes off of like the Teddy Roosevelt, speak softly, carry a big stick.
Yes.
That's exactly what Myles is. And like, which is perfect for if you're going to be a defensive player, like that's the type of dude that you want to focus in around. But I agree with you. You need to have some sort of veteran presence, like that voice or that dude that's been there. Like now, mind you, J.J. Watt's never been to an AFC championship game.
Right.
So like, it's not like he's been farther than where we've been. Like he's been to the same exact level as what we've been at. He's just never been able to get over the hump. And that's due to Bill O'Brien. That's due to, having Romeo Crennel as the interim head coach. Like a lot of things go up against you whenever you're down in Houston, but a lot of things were against us. You'd like to see people step up, and J.J. Watt's that type of dude.
J.J. Watt is that type of dude, and someone that could help Myles Garrett find his voice however he needs to as a vocal leader, because we know what type of vocal leader J.J. Watt is. And I don't want to just go back to just that one speech before Week 17 that J.J. Watt calling out his teammates, and no matter what the record is, if you're not here to work and you're not here to get yourself better and for the betterment of this team, then you shouldn't be here. That whole speech that got everybody willing to run through a wall, we see multiple examples of that. And it's that kind of guy that we need on this team. You look on the offensive side of the ball for the Cleveland Browns. Jarvis Landry was the start of that. A guy that we love here on the Voice of the Land, Juice. And anybody that says... Was it Peter Smith or someone that was on Twitter saying that they should trade
Pete Smith?
Yeah.
Like I went back and forth, with the guys. So the fact is that he's bad. Like pick a fence, pick a lane, because he is at the point of saying like Jarvis is overpaid and like he's older, he's overpaid, he's not producing as much. But then he wants to pay J.J. Watt. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, no, you got to get J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt, once again, only had 5 sacks last year. Like, you're going to overpay to get J.J. I understand that. You understand that. Pete doesn't know the difference. Or, like, he's hell-bent on just, like, cutting Jarvis or trading away Jarvis, which is ridiculous. To say that Jarvis doesn't have, any sort of promising attributes to bring to this team is ridiculous. The fact that he's like, oh, call me whenever he makes some plays. The dude's he's been here for 3 years. He's made 2 Pro Bowls. Like, come on. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. in 7 years. Stop it.
He's a reliable wide receiver that is better. He's a wide receiver 2.
He's getting paid like a 1. I get
understand
that.
it.
But you know what? As a player on this team, he's a 1.
He's a 1. He is wide receiver 1 on this team, not positionally. I think people get misconstrued when you want to say that Jarvis Landry is wide receiver 1 on the Browns, because no, he's not. He's not the deep threat. He's the 2. He's going.
Everyone goes to
he's
that.
Yards after the catch. He's that quick crossing route. He's that third down option.
Slot guy, yeah. Slant guy, yeah.
Trust me, I get that. But what he brought to this team and started the culture change, while Kevin Stefanski took it and this new regime took it to a whole nother level this season, Jarvis Landry is the example, the one you look up from chapter 1 of however this story goes for this new invigoration of Browns football here in Cleveland. Jarvis Landry is on chapter 1 for the culture change.
No doubt.
Because of what he was able to do with his voice. Now, Baker Mayfield is finding his confidence in his play and how he can lead on the field and doing great things off the field too. You need that guy on defense because, Paulus, you brought up 3rd and 14. And I've been talking with a couple people that, every time I walk into work, anytime that there's like a big news thing, like everybody's like, "Oh, Kevin, what's your take? What's your take?" Like, it's like, I'm not a SEAL. I can't. I know I'm not ready to perform like every single time. Like,
right.
I'm here to get my work done, But they asked me, J.J. Watt's available. Like, what do you think? Go after him? I was like, yeah, or a guy like that. You may miss out on the J.J. Watt sweepstakes, but I've heard names like Richard Sherman or other veterans out there that can be a leader, because on 2nd down, Myles Garrett goes in and gets that sack on Chad Henne. Now, I saw a lot of guys that were like amped up on the field.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that communication, that kind of that vocal element.
Sure.
You saw kind of translating throughout the team and throughout their huddle coming out for that 3rd down play. And then you don't get a stop on 3rd and 14. I understand that they went for it on 4th down, that you technically got a stop on 3rd down, but you gave them the chance to go for it on 4th and inches for a guy like Tyreek Hill, that while the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the team to figure it out, the Browns were not any sort of only team that couldn't stop Tyreek Hill this year. Even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers struggled with that early in the season. They were able to spend 2 weeks on this Chiefs offense and the tape that they had in that game, so they had a little bit of an advantage there in their defensive scheme against Tyreek Hill. But if you don't stop Chad Henne running and force them into even a 4th and 6, a 4th and 7, to punt that ball away, you can call out the offense all you want. It's 8 minutes left. They're 4th and 9 at their own 26-yard line. They're not going for it. That's Kevin Stefanski saying, I know we've struggled. I know we're one of the worst teams giving up 4th downs or not getting out the field on 3rd down throughout the year, but I still have faith in you guys to go out there and do that. That's the type of coach that Kevin Stefanski is, and that's why he's going to continue to be successful for this Browns organization. But if you can't get a stop like that and you don't have guys that are getting on people, that kind of characteristic or trend with this team should have been cut out a long time ago during the season. And this is not on Joe Woods. This comes down to players executing. And I think that vocal leadership.
But it also comes down to talent as well. Look
it does.
Whenever, if you have your number 1, defensive end out there outside, like you have 2 number 1 defensive ends. Okay. You have Myles and you have OV. OV's out. Porter Gustin steps in. We understand Porter Gustin. I don't believe he has a career sack.
I don't know.
I don't think he does. He has an interception.
He does.
We saw him. We saw him intercept Ben in the playoffs, but I don't know if he even has a sack, or if he does, it's not many. Okay, OV had 9 sacks this year, a lot of which came whenever Myles was out. Okay, if you have OV, I think you stop Chad Henne. I think that instead of it being a 4th and it's 3rd and 14, instead of it being 4th and 6 inches, like it was, It is now 4th and probably 8, 9. Maybe Henny does get a couple of yards, but
Right.
he doesn't get all of that.
It's not inches, it's yards.
Exactly. And then that changes up 4th down completely. They're not running that little dink route. I don't think they're running that little dink route to get Tyreek, 6 extra yards like that. I think that they would go somewhere else with that. And once again, they might get that one, and then we lose that way. But we'll never know that. But if you have your number one defensive end out there, and once again, the talent matters. Porter Gustin isn't good enough to be, isn't good enough to be that guy. Adrian Claiborne right now is not good enough to be that sort of guy. That's why you need to bring in someone like that. And I think the tides would turn that way.
It just felt like after that second down sack that they felt like they got off the field after second down,
Sure.
not realizing that there was, and just totally forgetting about the situation on the field. That's where veteran leadership comes in. You saw it all the time on offense, where if the offense had a bad drive or, a bad play, Baker's back in the huddle and you have all these NFL film microphone things, whether it's Jarvis, Baker, hey, we're going to go score, or we're going to pick up this first down. It's not over.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Right.
Second down, you get a big play. Who's that guy that's saying, hey, stop celebrating. It's a great place.
Right.
Get back. We got to make another stop.
I agree.
We believe in Baker Mayfield. Get your quarterback on this field. Get your heads in it. Get your heads out of you-know-what.
Right.
And let's make another stop instead of, hey, like, oh my gosh, second down, we got a sack. Let's go. Let's go. We're done. Yeah, let's get off the field. No, you got another play to make. You need a voice like that. So with this whole J.J. Watt thing, I would love to have J.J. Watt. If you got to break the bank and it goes beyond, you have those 2 years of a window. Even if you extend some of these guys on rookie contracts, those things kick in afterwards. You have a window money-wise to maybe overspend a little. I'm not looking for breaking the bank for J.J. Watt. If it's too much, Andrew Berry, by all means, say no.
And at this point in time, we don't have to break the bank for anyone. The next available person that is going to break the bank, to me personally, I think is going to be Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nick Chubb still has a year left on his contract before we have to do anything. Baker still has 2, with that 5th year option, which we very well could, go like, hey, you know what? We're going to sign you to the 5th year option. We promise you that we'll extend you after that. That gives us that 2-year window, gap wise there for it. So once again, I'm all for, if you have to overspend to get JJ, I'm cool with that. That being said, I don't want you to overpay to get JJ and not be able to get anyone else.
Yep.
That's my fear, because we still have a lot of other players that we need to get on this team. Once again, edge rush and to be edge and linebackers, those are the spots that we need. I feel comfortable with our safeties, knowing that we're going to get Grant Delpit back, knowing that Ronnie Harrison is on this team, knowing that Carl Joseph is now no longer your starting safety. 23 is no longer your starting safety. But once again, you need depth. And that's where those guys are going to be coming in for that. Just get me some veteran presence, especially on that defensive line or in the linebacker group. That's what we need right there.
We're not one guy away.
We're not.
I would love to have J.J. Watt. And if we get him, boy, I'm going to be all excited about that. But what cost does it come at? Because you have an opportunity to kind of spend some money, but you can't just spend on one guy.
Right.
You do need to focus on spending on veteran leadership and depth on this defensive team, because you need pieces on defense, not just one guy. But I think one guy could then set the tone for everyone else that's there, or other guys that you're able to bring in. If you overpay for J.J. Watt where you can't bring in anybody else, that is a detriment, and that is a criticism that you can put right there on Andrew Berry's shoulders.
And to wrap it up right here, I think we all agree, J.J. Watt, you're going to probably overspend on talent-wise, because you're basing the contract is going to be based upon his talent from previous. So we understand that. What we're saying, America, is that don't we understand you're going to overspend to get JJ. I understand that, but don't overspend enough to hamstring you for this entire year. And that's not going to happen. We're not going to sign JJ to a 2-year, $30 million deal. That's not going to happen. If that does, because then that's $15 million a year. Yeah, I think we have like 28 in the bank right now.
Yeah.
Like that limits a lot what you can do in free agency elsewhere. And that's not, and I'm not saying that you have to make a lot of free agency splashes or big plays or anything like that, but like backups do cost money too.
Yes, they do.
So you once again, we want JJ. We would love to have JJ. To me, it is not a must sign. You're going to overspend to get him. That's cool. Just don't sign, $100 million contract. Don't sign something ridiculously stupid. That's what we're trying to say.
JJ Watt is not a must.
Right.
The culture extension
Yes.
and development is a must on the defensive side of the ball this offseason. And I think JJ Watt could go a long way in doing that. And
100%.
there's guys out there. I know Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, has a top 5 of where he could end up.
I have that. Do you want it?
Yeah. What is I know because Jeremy Fowler has covered the Steelers, but he's kind of gone more full NFL now with ESPN.
He goes everywhere. Jeremy Fowler's a great reporter.
He is. Who is his top 5 teams that could sign JJ Watt?
The top 5, I mean, pretty standard up at the top. You have the Steelers, the Watt brothers. We understand that. There were reports, Tony Grossi was saying that from a trusted source of Tony Grossi, he states that he doesn't think that JJ wants to go there. It would feel like stepping on TJ's shoes because that's TJ's team. And to be fair, that is TJ's team.
It is.
So I could understand that. Would I want to play with my brother? Yeah. I think I would want to, but I'm a different guy.
Take that vet minimum though. They're in cap hell right now.
They are in cap salary hell for sure. But the Steelers, so I understand family. Yeah. I get that.
They all go to Subway together in Pittsburgh.
Many brothers, yeah. They go all there, yeah. But yeah, Subway for sure. Green Bay. He's from He's from Wisconsin. He went to Wisconsin. He grew up a Packers fan. I know that would be the delight to my wife, who is a huge Packers fan.
Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go. Yeah. So, but yeah, the Green Bay Packers are number 2, Tennessee Titans 3, Patriots 4, Los Angeles Rams 5. I get the Rams because you just traded to get Matt Stafford. I don't know how much salary crap room they have.
They're going
but they're going all out. And I get that. Okay. And honestly, I think he'd look pretty damn good next to Aaron Donald. That would be a hell of a defensive combo right there, as long as he's healthy. But the Patriots, that one bothers me. The Titans, okay, you made the AFC Championship game the other year. You missed out. Going. I don't think. Yeah, they didn't win a game in the playoffs this round, did they?
No, because they lost in the wild card to the Ravens.
To the Ravens. Yeah, good call. So, a little disappointing year. Also in the division, maybe he'd want to go up against the Texans and just wreck them. I'd get that.
Yeah, I get to play him twice a year.
Right, but the Patriots, that's the one that I want to look at real quick, just super quick here for us. No one wants to go to New England now that Tom Brady's gone and just proved he was the guy. I understand Bill Belichick is still the king of all rings. Right. Okay. He has 6 rings as a head coach. I think he has at least 3 as a defensive coordinator. So you look at it and you're like, okay, no, I get the ring part, but you have no quarterback. You have the defense is still, I don't think that you're going to be bringing back a whole lot of guys there. They have a lot of cap room. So maybe they're the ones that overpay to get JJ. But when was the last time that you ever heard Bill Belichick overpay someone? Never. He let Tom Brady walk because he didn't even offer them anything. Yeah. So it doesn't make any sense. I have no idea other than putting the Patriots up there just because they're Bill Belichick likes, he's a damn good defensive coordinator. Okay, yeah, cool. JJ wants rings. And Patriots are nowhere in that ring conversation, at least not right now. The other teams that I mentioned, more understandable. There for it. But once again, you have a lot of issues, especially the Steelers salary cap. You got to pay Ben $41 million. The Rams, I don't know how much salary they have. I know they don't have any draft picks, so but that doesn't matter, obviously. But yeah, no, it's I just didn't get the Patriots. What about you?
That one doesn't make much sense to me. I think if I were to go with top 5,
Yeah.
3 of those teams, 3 of the 5 make a lot of sense. The Titans do make sense,
Yeah.
but they're kind of, I would maybe put them on the outside looking into the top 5.
Maybe 5 or 6. Yeah, something like that.
I've heard like 11 teams could be in on JJ Watt.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Tennessee would be in those 11.
Yeah.
If I were to do a top 5, and yeah, it's going to sound biased because I'm going to put the Cleveland Browns in there, but
Sure.
it's
I would too.
I would because of where they're at and the trajectory they're on as a team.
Right.
And they are pretty much going to be, they should be considered, and the standard should be Super Bowl. You know, it's got to be at least AFC Championship and Super Bowl, those type of expectations now, not just let's get to the playoffs
Who
and
would
love
your
it.
5 be?
It's so Steelers are going to be in there because
Sure.
of the brother.
It doesn't have to. Yeah, we don't have to go 1 through 5, but yeah, 5.
And I'm not putting any sort of order on this.
Sure,
The Steelers
yeah.
are going to be in the mix.
Okay.
The Packers are going to be in the mix because of where they're
Agreed.
at and
Agreed.
where he's from.
Yeah.
Rams make a lot of sense. So those 3 teams are all in my 5 somewhere.
I agree completely.
The other 2 would be the Browns and the Bills.
Okay. See, and like the Bills are right up there with. Now, once again, I don't know the salary cap for these teams.
I don't
okay?
either.
So
Yeah.
like,
They still haven't even set. I don't even think they've set like the full salary cap yet.
well, I know that it's going to be like $20 million less than what they were projecting
Oof.
because
Yeah.
because of the COVID issues, everything like that. I agree. Browns should be in there. So Steelers, Rams, and Green Bay.
Yeah.
I agree. All of those guys are probably in the mix there. I think the Browns should be in the mix as well. And then I'm going to give you a little wild card one. Seattle. I think Seattle needs defense. Clearly, they need defense.
They do.
They need a lot of help. They need offensive line help, and they need a lot of defense. I think he would be perfect. Up there. I think they have Carlos Dunlap still under contract. They traded to get him, and then who's the safety? Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams ball hawking in the back there and sacking up front. Like I get that, and then you throw JJ into that mix. I think that would be a hell of a combination. But once again, that Rams combo, if you have Aaron Donald and JJ Watt going. Like, I think that's pretty tough. That's tough to beat right there, as long as the Rams have money to do it.
I think like the 6 teams we just brought up are really the ones that should be
Agreed.
looking at it.
Patriots should be nowhere near there.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Get the hell out of here.
They've been too naive about their quarterback situation. I mean, we know that Belichick got rid of Bernie here. Like
rumor has it that they might be trying to get Jimmy Garoppolo back. Like, which I don't know what you'd have to give up to get Jimmy. And like his contract, although his contract might get voided because I don't think that there's any guarantees left on that contract. So if that happens and the 49ers can just cut bait, I could see him going back to New England for that.
If he becomes a free agent like that, New England goes to the top of the list for him. But
Of course,
they're not
100%.
in top 5 for JJ Watt.
Absolutely not.
The fact that JJ Watt did get released kind of just disappoints me a little bit because I felt better about the Browns getting him through trade. Instead of signing him because now everybody else is in and he can choose. Not that that's anything wrong. These players play long enough to earn that right,
of course,
to choose where they want to go. But you know how much every team is going to covet a guy like JJ Watt. You got a lot of competition. If Andrew Berry can pull that off and not have to overspend for him, executive of the year bells start ringing.
No doubt,
start ringing. To switch gears though from football because it's the off season. There's going to be a lot of rumors. It's going to be start getting into silly season. I haven't even looked at a mock draft. So
I've looked a little bit, but
Browns are 26. So it's take the best available defensive player.
Honestly,
to fill a spot.
there you go. That's
I just summed it up.
That's the mock right there.
Clip it right there. Everybody,
Boom.
Browns send it off to Berea. We got it. But a team that is trying to now establish their own culture. The Browns have a team that we kind of thought maybe on the right track, maybe a year ahead of where they needed to be this year, Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's been a rough go of it. Since they won those 2 games against the Nets and were able to get to, over 500, they've lost several games. I mean, I know they're 10-17 now. They got to take on the Clippers. They're on their West Coast trip.
Yeah.
They're getting blown out. JB Bickerstaff is calling out his team. He's not going to handle it. But how much have you been able to kind of look at this team? Where does their real issue lie? What has gone wrong since those 2 big wins against the Nets team that everybody started to get that little sparkle in their eye because it happened just after the James Harden trade? What has gone wrong with the Cavaliers?
So I kind of want to throw it back over to you real quick because like you and I were talking beforehand and like you were saying you think you understand when exactly it happened. I want to hear because without even saying, like just saying that, pre-show, I go, you know what? I already know where you're going to go and I'm going to agree with you. So you know what? I want you to unveil where you think this all went wrong.
So I know the media is not able to get in the locker room and everybody's on Zoom meetings. And this is not going to speculate on any sort of issue in the locker room or anything like that. So I just want to preface what I'm about to say with that. Watching those two Nets games against the Nets, game one where they go into, I believe that was the double overtime where Colin Sexton goes off. He's scoring 20 straight points. He's knocking down threes. Bench is going wild. Jared Allen is kind of showing why he's already given you a glimpse of why he can be that center of the future.
Yep.
And what he can learn from Andre Drummond. You think it's great that Drummond is here. And oh my gosh, the bench is going crazy. Kevin Love is in his mask and he's can't play right now, but he's revving it up.
He's pumped. Yeah.
It's looking like the Cavs are old with the different celebrations on the sideline.
Yep.
And I'm watching through the TV and of course not there, but I have our buddy Emmett Golden in my head saying, look at everything going on. Everything that you can see, not just on the court, but everything that is in your sight. Look at everything going on. And I scan across the bench, and I'm starting to get the goosebumps watching them celebrate. And I'm going kind of left to right on the screen, and then my eyes just stop right there in the center of the screen. And Andre Drummond is in the back row of the bench, just sitting there.
Just chilling.
Just like play is over here.
Yep.
His eyes are just straight, as if he's almost looking into the camera.
Doing the Jim Halpert.
Just given that look.
Right.
And he's not engaged at all. And even when he got up finally after, Colin Sexton's last three and it's double overtime, it's about a minute left, he finally gets up. There's no energy.
Yep.
Because he didn't play at all those two overtimes. Jared Allen was the guy, and he had just gotten here, and JB Bickerstaff is playing the hot hand like he should in a game, running the hot hand. What's getting you to coming back in the game, getting the lead in the game? I don't want to say that there is an issue in the locker room, but the play of Andre Drummond, as much as it was Colin Sexton, the play of Andre Drummond is what led this team to kind of looking like a playoff caliber team, a 4, 5, 6 seed, even into that 7 to 10 seed playoff. Then his play has dropped off. What's happened to the Cavs play? It's dropped off drastically.
No doubt.
I don't think there is a coincidence there. I don't. And I think for this young team, and if they want to be in meaningful games, I think it's time to cut bait with Andre Drummond, or at least by the trade deadline. I think it's time to cut bait to just, if you're going to go with Jared Allen and you're going with the young guys and you're going with your future and you're going to see what they can do together, and the injuries have been a big problem too, so I'm not going to downplay the injuries. The injuries have played a major role. I just think that there is an atmosphere now where Cavs have gotten shell-shocked by a couple teams and a couple really good teams, and you're kind of seeing that youthful ignorance taking hold of this team where, are we as good as we thought we were? Is this same old as we've gone through the last few years, being a lottery team and just not being good enough at all? There's a lack of effort and energy. It's one thing when you have a lack of talent and you're in games and you're losing at the death at the end of the game because the talent on the other side is just that much better than you. It's a whole nother problem when you are down 40-plus points in games, no matter what the talent is on the other side.
When you lose by 38. Like that.
That's unacceptable characteristics if you're going to build a winning culture built on working hard and growing each and every single day. If you're going to follow those cliches, your effort on the court better present that.
Now, I'm in 100% agreement. They have to trade Andre. Yeah, it just has to be done. There's a real bad sour taste right now in that locker room because I think every day they walk in that locker room, they go, you're still here. Like, and that's never how you want a team to be built around. It reminds me a lot of what happened to the Indians whenever Trevor Bauer was here. And like every week, we were talking like, maybe this is the week, maybe this is the week, maybe. And like, and then he finally threw the ball over the center field wall. And we were like, there we go. Like, that's it. Whenever Tito comes out there and you can see him mouth, what the F, and Trevor just kept on walking. And it's one of those moments where like, we're still waiting for that moment with Andre. And I'm not saying Andre's a professional. Okay. And I'm not to say like, Trevor Bauer was completely unprofessional at that point in time, right. And he since has won a NL Cy Young and has a $103 million contract. Kudos to you. But that being said, like, I don't think that we're going to have that sort of moment, but like it has that gut check feeling of like, this move just has to be made. It's overdue. It just needs to be done because I think it'll clear the house. It kind of, once again, going back to someone that needed to get traded, Kevin Porter Jr. just had to get traded. And eventually it got done, but it took a little bit of time. Nobody wants to pay a center. Okay. And we have two of them on our team, and Jared Allen, I do believe is the future as well. I mean, he's been balling out. I mean, coming off the bench and, like whatever role you need Allen to come on, do, he's doing it. And he's been doing it very well. I've been actually quite impressed.
Yes.
There for us, but Andre just, it's that moment where I have no ill will towards the dude. I think the dude's a hard worker. Like he just he signed his contract here, no one else is going to pay him $30 million on the open market. And no one is going to pay that, from here on out. So I understand why he re-signed with us. Everything makes sense. But at this point in time, you're a Cancer and it's not due to your feelings or any, once again, it's just that mindset of like, the dude has to go. Like we need a fresh start. He needs a fresh start. And I think it's going to happen eventually. Like, I think it will happen by the trade deadline. We're not going to not get anything for him. Okay. Like, even if it is a second round picker or whatever, we only gave up a second to get him, it was a future second. So like, that doesn't even matter.
Right.
So like, I just get something, anything for him. I'll be completely fine with that. Until that happens, though, I don't think that we're going to be not even a playoff team, but like a competent team because there's just a lot of issues with this going on right now.
Yeah, because the Cavs were so good to start the season.
Yeah.
And they are
surprisingly good.
They are the exact opposite of that now. And I don't think they're this bad. I don't think that they were as good and as spectacular as they were in early part of the season either.
They're not. Let's beat the Nets twice good. Like in back-to-back days. We're gonna do that. Like that was fake. That was Fugazi. As what Tony Rizzo says. That was Fugazi. But I don't think that they're as bad as losing to the Nuggets by 38. No. Like that's
as good as the Nuggets are. Like
they are good. They're very good.
Oh,
but like they're not 38 loss bad kind of team. This isn't the year that we were, tanking to get Kyrie. Like the year after LeBron, left the first time around. That was probably the
26
worst
straight loss.
That was the worst team that I've ever seen. Like easily the worst team that I've ever seen. So I don't think that we're that sort of team. I think we're a better team. I think that we could compete for that, play-in spot, that 10-11 spot, to get into the playoffs. I don't think that we're going to make the playoffs now, but who knows? Trade Andre, we'll see.
This team, I've finally figured out, it needs to be about building the young talent. And however the young talent can carry you at this point in their career, great. You need to get rid of any potential issue. And the reason why I know that there's not some ugly story that could come out of what's going on behind the scenes in the locker room with Andre is because of what you said exactly. He is very professional.
He
is. And it wasn't such a pouting type of thing where he was just sitting on the bench. It was like I've done so much, like just kind of like questioning things. Like,
sure,
I love that Jared Allen's here, but like, why am I not a part of, like, this is going so well, like, why am I not being put back in? Why aren't we going back and forth, like, keeping fresh legs? but he's not going to be outwardly defiant about it either. And so him being professional, Kobe Altman is keeping him around as long as necessary. Those calls are going to come, though, and Kobe Altman needs to take them seriously. And I love Andre Drummond's game. I'm not trying to run a guy out of town.
Of course not. He's great at what he does.
I think for the betterment of Andre Drummond and how good he is and what he can bring to contending teams, and the betterment of this Cavs team and where they're at and what they need to really be about at this point in the rebuild, I think it's just better for both parties to go separate ways and wish each other well. And there won't be any ill will, shake of hands, like the quintessential mutual parting of ways.
No mutinies.
No mutinies, anything like that. I think if there were to be something that came out or Andre Drummond were to be defiant or go against his professionalism that we've seen him be about for so long.
Throwing soup,
anything
pulling
like
the
that.
JR move.
I think it would be like the Kevin Porter Jr. situation where it would be the move would happen more quickly. But Kobe, take those calls and just do what's best for both sides.
Kobe's a good GM.
He is.
He's been solid. I mean, his drafts have been really solid. I like what he's been doing.
Yep.
He's a very young GM. Like, he needs a lot of time. He needs a lot of effort. He signed the right coach. I still 100% believe in JB Bickerstaff. I know, the losses are piling up, and we went from like the #1 defense to I think we're the 18th best defense now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things are piling up. It's because the losses just keep coming, and you just got to release the bad juju that's going on right now. And I think that's Andre, and not by his fault. Once again, he's not creating all this controversy. He's not pulling a James Harden.
No,
he's not saying like, get me out of here. Like, I don't want to play with these guys. These guys are scrubs. I'm better than they are. Like, he's not saying any of that. He just wants to get it. Like we just got to move on. We absolutely have to move on.
He's been an absolute basketball purgatory or worse.
Yes.
Over his career up there in Detroit.
Yeah.
Because Detroit was good for a while. He was not a part of good Detroit basketball.
Right.
He was the bright spot. He is.
No doubt.
He's been one of those bright spots here with the Cavs. We know what point the Cavs are in because that guy that we had, he's out in LA doing his thing and adding to his legacy, but he's not here. And basketball goes into the crapper basically when he leaves. And if they want to do things right this time around to rebuild without LeBron James for the Cavaliers, and do right by Andre Drummond, who has earned the right to contend for something, just like J.J. Watt has earned the right to contend for something, hopefully to get a chance to contend for something in their careers, part ways. Now, we are getting down to the wire here on the show, as we do try to go an hour. I know we've extended that sometimes.
We've gone over a couple of times.
We called it extravaganza last week. We've had several extravaganzas here, and we appreciate Dave for letting us do that. We have a lot of fun on the show.
What else are you gonna do on a Sunday night?
Right.
Tonight might be a little different because some people got some cuddling to do tonight.
Yes.
So, hey-o. That's as safe as we can go on this one.
We have the ability to go with more of that, but we're not going to. We will not go that far. But we come together because we love Cleveland sports. We love talking about this stuff. We love breaking it down from every different angle.
Oh yeah.
Whether we don't, whether it's from coaching angle, fan angle, stat angle, whatever. It's the love of sports, the passion for sports that brings us together. Today is a day where love for others, significant others, family, whatever, especially with football being done. But Valentine's Day is, they say, the day for lovers. And, no matter who you love, whatever pathway you take, it is just a nice day to kind of, especially as we still go through this pandemic, to think about the people that you love and send them all your best. I do want to, before we get into our Valentine's Day plans, I do want to just quickly say, as we are thinking about other people going through rough times, the Seipel family, Tom Seipel, a longtime Browns fan. If you guys don't know the story, he was dealing with cancer, and throughout that, he was having really difficult days, but he had his own blog where he's, what kept him going, kept the fight going even more was this Browns team and the ride that they were on, and he was a big Baker Mayfield fan. And Browns Nation came together to help them get to that Steelers game at the end of the season that got them into the playoffs, got them to 11-5. They got to meet Baker after the game. I even saw this week that Baker actually gave him a ride home. Tom was looking for a ride from Uber, but Baker's like, hey, my car's right over here. Like,
pop in.
I got you. Because him and his wife, Emily,
who reached out to get in contact with Tom. And
set up all the travel, got him in the box.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, he did lose his battle with cancer this week. We do want to send our condolences to his family, our thoughts and prayers. Big Browns fans. We know that we love that the Browns were able to give him such a great year.
Right.
It is tough when you lose anybody like that. And also to Browns Nation, condolences to the Schottenheimer family as Marty Schottenheimer.
Agreed.
Of course, unfortunately, losing his life to his battle with Alzheimer's this week. It's those moments that remind you what matters most. And it's people. It's the people that you love. It's trying to do right by others.
Yep.
And Valentine's Day is one of those days to kind of, it's commercialized, it's hyped up just like any holiday might be, but it's right to just take a step back, take a deep breath, remember the ones that you love, you're thinking about them, and we want to make sure that Paulus and his wife are able to get off to their plans. How are you guys going to be spending Valentine's Day tonight?
Well, it's later in the night, obviously. Right now, we're going live right now, so it's 7:40 right now.
Going local for dinner.
We're going to be going to a Char Whiskey Bar and Grill. There for us. So obviously a staple. There we go. ESPN Cleveland staple there for us. Matt Fontana special. But we're going to be going there. So I don't know if we're going to do the special that they have running. It's like it was like a $99 or $100 special, and I mean it was steaks, it was lobster. I mean it was a lot of great things out there. I don't know if we're going to do that, but I mean I know we've been looking at it. This will be my first time going to Char there for us. So. Very much looking forward to that. I'm going to be trying some of their Weller whiskey that they have. Fontana, was talking about that. It's like a $400 bottle of whiskey, and they're doing like $13 ounces basically.
Okay.
So like obviously I'm going that route. Obviously, clearly, but
drink responsibly.
Exactly.
The voice of the land would like you to drink responsibly. Drink. You may be having fun tonight, but make sure you drink responsibly, especially as Governor Mike DeWine has lifted the curfew in Ohio.
No doubt. But I am very much looking forward to that. So that's where we're going to be running off to. We have like a 8:30 sit down time there for us, Resi. So that we're going to be doing that. I saw you went to Mabel's, correct?
Yes, we did. We did dinner last night, trying to support some of the local places, and we had been talking about trying to go to Mabel's or one of Michael Simon. Shout out to Chef Michael Simon from Cleveland, Iron Chef.
Yeah.
B Spots, just got to try that place recently. That was really good. But wanted to try a couple spots on East 4th, and unfortunately Lola did close due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
And there's other places like that are closing. So I think it was good that we kind of all found a way to support local, and tried Mabel's last night. I had the pork spare ribs.
Ooh.
Like fall off the bone. The Cleveland barbecue sauce that implements ballpark mustard into it and some other Cleveland elements.
There you go.
Shout out to the chef. Jana had the pulled pork sandwich because you can get either the meat by half a pound just by itself.
Sure.
Or you can get it on a sandwich, except for the ribs, of course. But she had the pulled pork sandwich. I mean, she took like 5 bites, and it's stacked.
It's huge.
It's stacked. She's like, I'm getting full. We did try a couple of their wines last night. May have found some favorite wines there.
Nice.
Drinking responsibly, of course.
You red or a white?
I'm a red.
Okay.
Same. I'm a red dry side of things. She's kind of the white sweet side, but she had one that was like right smack dab in the middle. I think it was like a Riesling.
Is that a rosé? Is that what that's called? No, I have no idea. I have no idea. Clearly,
I try to like joke around. I'm a wine snob. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm Cabernet Sauvignon. If
you're coming to us for wine selections, this is the wrong podcast for you. That is for sure.
I try to do the thing where I like.
The sommelier?
Yeah, sommelier,
I know that, yeah.
Smell it and everything, I took a sip last night, and Jana goes, is that like, because I let her try it too, and she's like, is that like cherry I'm tasting? was like, "Wow, I'm really not a wine star." No, no,
Like, sure.
I was just
sure
like,
it is.
"This is a
Of
good,
course it is.
this is a good red wine." I mean, that's all
Very
I got.
oaky.
Yes. But shout out to Mabel's, and I know that I did tweet it out, and they kind of did quote tweet as well. But shout out to their great service, great place, great
Awesome.
barbecue spot to go to. Peter, did you guys support local? Did you guys just kind of do things around the house? I mean, we took you away from your wife tonight, so we're sorry.
Well, we don't do a whole lot for Valentine's Day, and
Okay.
kind of low key. And I made chili. I told you guys before the show. I made chili last night, so everyone enjoyed that except for Joe, of course, because he doesn't eat
Yeah.
anything.
Picky.
So
Picky, yeah.
picky. So he had peanut
That's how
butter
I
and
am, too.
jelly, so he was happy with that. Just got a couple, small things, and then I mentioned, my wife is. She's looking at like joining another gym, and
Yeah.
with the pandemic, everyone's concerned about going into places and working out and being exposed, and so we bit the bullet, and I bought a Peloton. So it'll be
There
here
you
in
go.
April.
Yeah.
It'll be here in April. So if I would have bought it around Christmas time, we'd have it by now, because it's like an 8-week ordering. So. I'm gonna get my butt on that bike, and
I was gonna say I hear great things about Peloton.
Yeah, dude.
Like
Yeah.
no doubt.
I've heard that too. Apparently, her two sisters, I think, both have one as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. I mean, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm paying an arm and a leg for it.
I was
So
gonna
I'm
say
gonna,
you bit the bullet. You
I
might
bit
as well
the
try
bullet.
it,
I might
right?
as well use it. So
It's got all those workouts built into it. I
Yeah.
think they just went treadmill as well. I think they just added a
Did-
treadmill to their repertoire.
did that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I think I just saw a commercial.
We went with the original bike, not the
Yeah.
Bike Plus, because it's
Yeah.
there's a couple differences, and one of them was like you can turn the monitor. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Okay.
$700 so I can turn the monitor.
Just
I just moved the bike, it's not that big.
just give me the workout.
Right. So looking forward to that, and just going home, and hopefully there'll be room on the bed because the dog takes up most of the
Yeah,
Of course,
bed
there you
area,
go.
So
Yeah.
he went from being a tiny puppy to 50-pound
Big old pup.
Yeah.
weight right in the middle there. So.
Right.
Yeah. Plus, everybody make sure got to get to bed tonight because could have some snow coming in. So
Get up early and
clean up the
snow,
car.
yeah.
Like they're saying 1 a.m. to tonight to.
So
to
yeah,
Tuesday.
real quick, obviously, because we got to get going here in a second. But yeah, so we're looking at I think in the Akron area where Kelly and I live, we're looking at getting like anywhere from 6 to I want to say 6 to 8 or 9 inches, like over the next day and a half or something. So. And that's a lot of snow for Akron. That's a lot of snow up here in Cleveland. I know, how much are you guys supposed to?
I think they're
get?
saying up to 12.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So just be careful out there. Everybody be careful on the roads. And, if you're out and about tonight, spending time with loved ones, be careful, drive safely, drink responsibly, and just remember to send that quick text or anything to your loved ones and say you're thinking about them.
No
But
doubt.
want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight all across the social media platforms and the Sportscaster app. If you're tuning in on delay, hopefully you had a good Valentine's Day, and want to remind everyone out there that we truly do love you all 3,000 on a Valentine's Day. No more better way to kind of end a show with that. But for my brother Nick Paulus and our producer Peter Tillett, Kevin Arnold reminding all of you, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. As I just said, we love you all 3,000. We will see you all next Sunday night, 7 o'clock, right here on the Big Play Network.